Hey guys, my name is Dupree, and today I am showing you how to shoot a powerful draw shot, or a power draw. This video is going to be pretty detailed to give you the best understanding possible of a power draw shot. So, just to show you what you would use this for, this isn't really a far draw shot like a power draw that we're going to do yet. This is an okay length draw shot. So we're straight in on the 5, and we want to shoot this 8 ball next. This 8 ball's kind of on the rail, so if we end up somewhere over here, it's going to be tough to make. So we're going to make the 5 in the corner, spin backwards, so we can make the 8 in that corner. And for those of you who do not know how the ball would spin backwards, I'll try to show you from this angle. So with the 10 up. See, we're hitting the cue ball below the center of the ball. So that causes it to spin backwards, and once it hits the ball that it's hitting, the backspin brings it back. So it's just we're hitting below the center of the cue ball, and the backspin will draw it back. So always make sure on draw shots that you're chalked up, because it's very easy to miscue. And what a miscue is when you hit too low and the ball jumps like that and it really has no spin at all. So you definitely do not want to do that, because you'll probably miss the ball, and if you somehow make it, you're definitely not having a shot on the 8 ball. So definitely chalk up. The second thing, make sure your cue is as level as it can be. If you have to jack up a little bit, that's fine. But just make sure your cue is as level as you can make it for the shot. Third thing, make sure you're holding the cue loose. Your cue has to be very, very loose. And make sure it's mostly in your wrist. Do not drop down your elbow, because that makes us hit higher. Watch my cue tip when I drop my elbow. See how it goes up? So that means we're not hitting as low as we would if we just snapped our wrist. So try not to drop your elbow. Try just to flick your wrist. I hold the cue with 2 fingers, so my grip is very, very loose. Also try not to turn your wrist inwards after you complete your stroke. Do not turn your wrist towards you like that. That's just a stroke flaw that many people may have. And you may be asking, what chalk am I using? For this shot, I'm using Brunswick. Before the power draw that's coming later in the video, I'm using Kamui. It puts amazing spin on the ball. It's just really hard to explain how much spin you can put on the ball with Kamui. So, and also just be mindful of the cue you're using and the power of the cue. I'm using a Miyuchi cue, so I can draw back as far as I want. But if you're using a house cue, like a one-piece Walmart cue, you're not going to be able to do that. So be mindful of the cue you're using. Be mindful of the wear and tear on your tip, because if your tip is all jacked up, you're not going to be able to draw. So loose grip, level cue, chalked up tip, and the most important thing, well, the second most important thing, is hitting low on the cue ball. There's 3 L's: level cue, loose wrist, hitting low on the cue ball. So low, level, loose. So most important thing now, your follow through. You want to follow through all the way through the cue ball, and when the cue ball starts coming back towards you, just lift your cue up and move it to the side, because your follow through will be complete by then. For this shot, we're going to have to stand weird since I have this pocket block at me. I'm standing on the side of the table and leaning over, but still have your loose wrist, hit low, and follow through. Try not to go up with your cue too much. You can a little bit, but it's not very good. I sometimes struggle with trying to keep my cue flat when I'm using an open bridge. Sometimes I use open bridge. For most power draws, I will use a closed bridge just because it's more snug and I get an exact hit on the ball. So here's a shot. I'm just going to pocket the 5, in the corner and draw back for the 8 in this corner. So I'm just using straight draw, no spin, no side spin. Loose wrist, level cue. Follow through. And now look at this. Perfect shot. We can just roll in the 8 ball. So that was a regular draw. Okay guys, so now let's imagine for some reason, let's just say we can't draw back to here for a shape on the 8 and the side. So we're going to draw off of this rail. And we can probably go 2 rails out. That would be nice. We just want to end up somewhere in this area for a shot on the 8. So this time we're using a little bit of left spin in combination with the draw. So bottom left spin, we don't need a lot. That left spin is just going to help it take off of this rail and that rail and end up somewhere in a pocketable area for the 8 ball. Now remember our techniques. We're level cue, loose wrist, only 2 fingers on the back of the cue. Our tip is chalked up. This time I'm using Kamui since we have to draw back a little further. Our tip is chalked up all the way. Make sure you follow through. Level cue, loose wrist, low on the cue ball. We're hitting as low as we can without miscuing. So, bottom left. We only came off 1 rail. Our left didn't really make much of a difference. But we still have that shot on the 8. So as long as you get your position, it's fine. I was planning to go 2 rails, but I didn't really quite get right spin. Right spin is what I was using. I didn't quite get the right spin needed on the cue ball to go back 2 rails. We can try to get that right spin again. I don't know how long I've been saying the left spin for, but I'm using right spin. There it is. Now it should. Yeah. So, just different spins change the angle off the rail. Left spin will take it this way, right spin is taking it that way. You just have to look at the direction the cue ball is going and just decide is right spin going to lengthen the angle or shorten it. So right spin in that case would lengthen the angle. Okay guys, for this shot, yes, we're using left spin this time, and I double checked just to make sure I was saying the right thing throughout the video. Left spin with draw. So this is a shot that comes up very, very often in games. We are straight in on the 5, which is the worst place to be in pool, because if you use top spin, you scratch every time. If we use stop, which will just stop the cue ball right where the 5 is, we're not going to have much of a shot on our 2 ball. And straight draw will kind of work. Watch what straight draw does. We get an okay shot. It's still a cut angle. But we would rather be or down here. And we cannot get down there with straight draw. So we're going to use bottom left, and the left will spin the cue ball off of that rail. Just remember the L's and make sure you follow through. I'm using an open bridge. So bottom left, low, as level as possible. We have to jack up a little bit because of this rail. Low, as level as possible, loose wrist. Follow through. Look how it spins the ball over there. And now we're much closer than right here. And we have a pretty straight in shot on that 2 ball. So just that running English will help send the cue ball off of the rail. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. If you did, click that like button down below. If you want to be notified when I post again, click that subscribe button and then the bell icon right next to it. That'll just let you know that I have uploaded some new content. Just use a notification and an email. Thank you guys so much for 2,000 subscribers. That's absolutely incredible. Thank you guys so much. It's been amazing this past month. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I really hope that you learned from this video.